I used to think death was the only thing left for me. You ever hear a bomb go off so close it rattles your skull? Smell blood so thick it mixes with the gunpowder and chokes you? Wake up in the middle of the night, soaked in sweat, because the faces of your dead buddies keep staring at you asking, "Why are you still here, man, and not me?" I've lived through all that, and then I lost everything: my family, my home, my pride, even myself. Now here I am, 70 years old, no roof over my head, clothes torn to shreds, sleeping on park benches with an empty stomach and nightmares that never quit. But I'm not here begging for your pity. Nah, I'm here to tell you a story, how a guy like me who thought God had turned his back on him found a light in the darkest pit you can imagine. And I want you to know, no matter how bad life beats you down, there's always a reason to get back up. My name's John Matthew Carter. Grew up in a little nowhere town in Tennessee where everybody knew your name like you were kin. My dad was a carpenter. My mom taught at the local school. Life was simple, good even. Then 1972 rolled around. I was 19, and Uncle Sam sent me a draft notice. Vietnam. I didn't even know where Vietnam was on a map, but I knew one thing. If I didn't go, I'd be the town coward. So I put on that uniform, hugged my mom one last time, and shipped out. You can't picture how bad war gets unless you've been there. I watched my best friends die right in front of me. Tommy, he was just 18, took shrapnel to the chest, bleeding out in my arms on some jungle floor. He kept calling for his mom, but there was no mom, just me, helpless, watching the life drain out of him. Then there was Eddie. He threw himself on a grenade to save me, blew him to pieces so I could keep breathing. I hear their screams in my sleep every damn night for 50 years. I shot people, killed people, not because I wanted to, but because if I didn't, I'd be the one in the dirt. Every time I pulled that trigger, though, a chunk of my soul went with it. When I got back to the States in 75, I wasn't the same John my family knew. I was a ghost. My mom cried when she saw me, but I couldn't even hug her. I'd shake like a leaf at every loud noise. I drank to forget, but the more I drank, the more I remembered. My dad told me, "Son, you gotta toughen up." But I couldn't. Lost my job, lost my friends, lost the love of my life. Sarah. She walked out because she couldn't handle my rages or the nights I'd scream myself awake. I don't blame her. Who'd stick around for a wreck like me? Then I lost my house. Bank took it when I couldn't pay. I ended up on the streets, sleeping under bridges, digging through trash for scraps. One time I sat in the pouring rain, freezing my ass off, watching folks walk by. They'd cross the street to avoid me like I was some mangy stray. I thought, God, if you're real, why'd you let me end up like this? I gave everything for this country. Why'd you ditch me? I wanted to die. Grabbed a bottle, chugged it dry, and begged God to take me, but he didn't. One night, I was curled up under a tree in the park, so hungry I figured I wouldn't make it to morning. This old homeless guy, older than me, white hair, beat to hell, walked up. He had this dry crust of bread in his hand, and he gave it to me, said, "Eat it, I don't need it anymore." I stared at him, tears running down my face, and asked, "Why are you giving this to me? You're starving too." He smiled, this warm, gentle smile, and said, "Because God told me to. He says everybody in this world deserves love, even bums like us." That night, I bawled like a baby, not from the hunger or the cold, but because, for the first time in decades, I didn't feel alone. I took that bread, ate it slow. bite by bite. And I prayed. I said, God, I don't know if you're listening, but if you're there, give me a reason to keep going. And he answered, not with lightning or miracles, but with this peace in my chest I hadn't felt since I was a kid. That's when everything changed. I quit the bottle, started helping other folks on the street, even though I had nothing myself. I'd split my last scrap of food, give my raggedy blanket to somebody shivering worse than me. I pray every day not for a house or cash, but for God to bless everybody else. You folks here, the kids going hungry, the soldiers still fighting, even the souls I watched die all those years ago. I pray for them. I'd take their pain if I could, carry it on my back so they could be free. I figure I made it through all this not to bitch about life, but to bring some hope. Look, I don't give a damn about fame or prize money from America's Got Talent. I'm not here to win a trophy. I'm here to tell you that no matter how many times life knocks you flat, you can stand up again. I lost it all, but I found God, and through Him, I found me. I'm not just some pitiful homeless guy anymore. I'm a man with a heart big enough to love and bleed for every one of you. I pray every night for this world to hurt a little less, for nobody to suffer like I did. I don't know how much time I've got left. Maybe tomorrow I'll croak on a park bench and nobody'll even notice. But if my story hits even one of you, if it makes you believe life's worth fighting for, then I've done what I came to do. I ask God to bless you, your families, and every lost soul out there. Thanks for hearing me out, an old man with nothing but faith and a whole lot of love.
I was 19, boots in the mud, blood on my hands, sent off to a war in a far-off land. Friends fell like leaves, their screams still ring. Lost my soul to the devil's sting. Came home a shell, a ghost in the rain. No one could love this kind of pain. I drank to drown, I begged to die, under bridges where the lost souls lie. Thought God forgot, left me to fade, a broken man in a world unmade. But then came bread, a crust of grace, a stranger's smile in a darkened place. He said, take it, son, it's all I've got. And in that moment I heard God talk. Through the cold, through the shame, I found my way, I learned His name. Bread and grace pulled me through. Now I'm singing this song for you. Streets were my home, the night my cage, far with the bottle, lost to rage. Rain soaked my bones, hunger my friend. Thought my story'd come to an end. But under that tree in the midnight chill, a hand reached out and time stood still. I cried to the sky, why let me live? He showed me love's what we've got to give. That dry old bread, it fed my soul, made me whole when I lost control. Yeah, bread and grace, a crust of light, a spark of hope in the endless night. He said we're all worth more than we know. Through His eyes I felt it grow. Through take your pain, I'd carry your load. Pray for peace on this broken road. Every night on that bench I kneel, asking God to help you heal. Bread and grace